AJ Styles is hurt, legitimately injured after what should have been a straightforward match with Gunther, and WWE's response has been nothing short of disgraceful, disrespectful, and absolutely infuriating to anyone who actually cares about the performers who sacrifice their bodies for our entertainment. This isn't about worked injuries or storyline drama. This is about a legitimate wrestling legend being put in a dangerous situation, suffering real consequences, and WWE treating it like just another day at the office. If you're not angry about how this situation has been handled, you haven't been paying attention, because what happened to AJ Styles and how the company has responded reveals everything wrong with modern wrestling's treatment of its veteran performers. The match itself was supposed to be a showcase, a dream encounter between two of the best in-ring workers on the planet. AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, 47 years old, but still performing at a level that puts most wrestlers half his age to shame. Gunther, the ring general, the intercontinental champion who's been on an absolute tear, delivering brutal, hard-hitting matches that feel like legitimate fights. On paper, this should have been a guaranteed classic, the kind of match that reminds everyone why we love professional wrestling. Instead, it became a nightmare that's now raising serious questions about WWE's medical protocols, their treatment of veterans, and whether they prioritize spectacle over safety. The match started normally enough, both men working their typical styles, Gunther delivering his trademark chops that echo through arenas, AJ using his speed and technical prowess to create openings. The chemistry was there, the crowd was invested, and everything seemed to be going according to plan. Then, approximately 12 minutes into the match, something went wrong. Gunther executed a powerbomb, a move both men have done countless times, but AJ's landing looked immediately wrong. His body didn't bounce back like it should have. He didn't pop up to continue the sequence. Instead, he stayed down, and if you were watching closely, you could see him grimacing in a way that had nothing to do with selling. The referee immediately checked on AJ, and you could see the concern on his face. This wasn't part of the script. Gunther, professional that he is, looked genuinely worried, breaking character to ask if AJ was okay. And here's where things get absolutely maddening. Instead of stopping the match, instead of calling for medical attention, WWE decided to continue. They had these two performers work through what was clearly a legitimate injury situation, prioritizing the planned finish over AJ Styles' health and safety. First question for the comments. Have you ever seen a match where you knew someone was legitimately hurt, and how did the company handle it? Drop your experiences, because we need to compare WWE's response to industry standards. AJ Styles, consummate professional that he is, attempted to continue. You could see him struggling, favoring his right side, unable to execute moves with his usual crispness. Gunther, to his credit, seemed to be trying to work around the injury, calling spots that would minimize AJ's physical involvement. But the damage was done, and forcing AJ to finish that match might have turned what could have been a minor injury into something career-threatening. The finish came several agonizing minutes later, with Gunther getting the victory via pinfall after a clothesline that AJ could barely take a proper bump for. The moment the 3 count happened, medical staff finally rushed the ring, but the optics were terrible. Why weren't they there immediately when the injury occurred? Why was AJ forced to perform injured for 5 additional minutes? Why does WWE consistently prioritize finishing planned matches over protecting their performers? AJ had to be helped to the back, visibly limping, unable to put full weight on his right leg, clutching his ribs with his left arm. The pain on his face was real, undeniable, heartbreaking for anyone who's followed his career from TNA to NJPW to WWE. This is a man who's given everything to professional wrestling for over 2 decades, who's performed through minor injuries countless times, who's earned the right to be protected, not exploited. And WWE's official response? Radio silence. No injury update posted to their website, no mention on social media, no acknowledgement during the following SmackDown that one of their biggest stars might be seriously hurt. They treated AJ Styles like he's expendable, like his health doesn't matter enough to warrant even a basic statement about his condition. The disrespect is staggering. What makes this even more infuriating is the pattern. This isn't the first time WWE has mishandled an injury situation. We've seen performers worked while clearly hurt. We've seen medical concerns downplayed. We've seen wrestlers pressured to continue when they should have been pulled. The culture of the show must go on has morphed into admirable professionalism, into dangerous negligence. Comment below. Do you think WWE pressures wrestlers to work through injuries, or are the performers making these decisions independently? Your perspective matters because this gets to the heart of the industry's safety culture. Behind-the-scenes reports from sources close to the situation paint an even grimmer picture. According to multiple wrestling journalists with proven track records, AJ Styles wanted to stop the match when the injury occurred. He signaled to the referee that something was wrong, that he needed medical attention, but the decision was made, either by the referee, by production, or by someone in gorilla position, that the match would continue to its planned conclusion, regardless of AJ's condition. This decision-making process is where WWE's leadership fails catastrophically. Who made the call to continue? Who weighed AJ's immediate pain against the perceived value of finishing the match as scripted? And most importantly, who's being held accountable for a decision that potentially worsened AJ's injury and definitely put him at risk for additional harm? The wrestlers themselves have been notably quiet about the situation, which speaks volumes about WWE's internal culture. Nobody wants to rock the boat. Nobody wants to be seen as complaining or not being a team player. But the Whisper Network is active, and talent are reportedly furious about how AJ was treated, worried that they could be next, concerned that years of loyalty and stellar performances don't guarantee basic safety considerations. Gunther broke his silence with a cryptic tweet that seemed to express regret and concern, though he was careful not to directly criticize WWE. Working with legends is an honor. Safety is paramount. Hoping for the best, he posted, which many interpreted as a subtle dig at how the situation was handled. The fact that even Gunther, who ostensibly won the match, feels the need to comment suggests that backstage, people know this was mishandled. The injury itself, based on how AJ was moving and protecting his body, appears to involve his ribs and possibly his leg or hip. Rib injuries are particularly nasty for wrestlers because almost every bump, every move, every breath aggravates them. They take weeks to heal properly, and working through them risks more serious complications like broken bones or internal injuries. If WWE forced AJ to finish with injured ribs, they put him at risk for a punctured lung or worse. Here's a question that needs answering. At what age should WWE start protecting their veteran performers more carefully, or should in-ring safety be equal regardless of age and tenure? Share your thoughts because AJ's age is definitely a factor in this discussion. The financial implications can't be ignored either. AJ Styles is still under contract, presumably making good money, but an extended injury absence means WWE loses one of their most reliable performers, someone who can work with anyone and deliver quality matches consistently. From a purely business perspective, protecting that investment makes sense. Risking a longer injury for the sake of one match finish is monumentally stupid resource management. Fan reactions have been overwhelmingly supportive of AJ and critical of WWE. Social media is flooded with messages wishing AJ a speedy recovery, sharing favorite AJ Styles moments, and demanding that WWE implement better safety protocols. The hashtag #ProtectAJ has been trending, demonstrating that fans care more about wrestler well-being than finishing scripted matches exactly as planned. But support and hashtags don't change systemic problems. WWE has a documented history of grinding through performers until they break, then replacing them with the next generation. The machine keeps running, irregardless of individual casualties. Legends are shown the door when their bodies can't keep up anymore, often with minimal fanfare or appreciation for decades of service. Is this AJ's future? Forced into retirement because an injury that could have been managed carefully became career-ending through neglect?
The contrast with how other wrestling promotions handle injuries is stark. AEW has been criticized for many things, but they've shown willingness to stop matches when injuries occur, to prioritize performer safety over television content. New Japan Wrestling have medical staff who can waive off matches if they determine a wrestler is too compromised to continue safely. WWE seems to operate under the assumption that wrestlers are indestructible right up until they're broken. What's particularly galling is WWE's public relations machine, which loves to tout their performance center, their medical facilities, their commitment to talent wellness. They produce slick videos about concussion protocols and injury prevention. They brag about their state-of-the-art training, and then they force a 47-year-old legend to finish a match while clearly injured, undercutting every bit of propaganda they've pushed about caring for their roster. Drop your opinion. Should there be independent medical observers with authority to stop matches, removing